So if you watched the previous game against the Timberwolves and you saw the performance that Jalen had, where he basically looked like he didn't want to be on the court, you'd be wondering, like, is this the same person that we're seeing on the court in this game that just passed, the second game against the Timberwolves, where he went for 43, a new career high for him. But there is a reason why that happened, and it's based on the defense that the Timberwolves played on Jalen between the two games, and it's based on the personnel. So first, I want you guys to watch some of my favorite plays from this game. I chose a couple plays between Alperen and Jalen showing their two-man chemistry. And then when we come back after watching some of the favorite plays, I'm going to tell you what I thought about the game overall and the chemistry between Alperen and Jalen's performance, and just anything else that pops up in my mind. So check out the video of me breaking down these plays that I really enjoyed, and then we'll see you back when it's done. So this is one of the first plays in the game. You can see that Gobert is playing the drop big coverage over there, and his job is to make sure that Sengun and Jalen stay in front of him. You have McDaniels there. He's going to be the defender on Jalen. He does a really great job fighting over the screen, kind of forcing Jalen to not be able to drive here. And then the stunner there is Anthony Edwards, doing a good job of showing, so Jalen has nowhere to go, and this is exactly where they want him to be. If you remember in the last game, he struggled isolating against the length of guys like McDaniels and some of the guys the Wolves have on their roster. And you can see for the season, he's at 0.85 points per possession in isolation. Not great, only in the 44th percentile for that. And, this was, I was a little skeptical when I saw this, but, things got better for him here because the Timberwolves changed their coverage a bit and the defense got a bit lazy as the game went on. Okay, here with this play, the reason I like it is because Jalen attacked early. And what I'm pointing out here with Gobert is the fact that Sengun still has gravity even though he's a big, because what he can do passing and in the post, this gives Jalen the chance to get to the rim fairly quickly, and I love when he attacks early. He needs to do more of that. One of the things I saw from this game is growth. Check this play out. You get a wide pin down from Alperen Sengun. Eric Gordon throws the ball a little bit behind Jalen. If it was in front of him, he may be able to get out further, but the play is blown up. McDaniels is right there in front of him, so we don't want that because Jalen's not great in isolation. But here's the growth, resetting the play, right? And Alp understands what they're doing. He understands Gobert is scared of Jalen's speed and they're focusing on Jalen, so he slips that and goes into his ISO bag. But good follow by Jalen there. That's how you kind of bail out your guy and show with energy. When he made that layup and is attacking even though he doesn't have the ball, that let me know he was going to have a good game. I love this play because of the spacing. They're going to run a little dribble handoff into a almost a pick and roll action, but Alp decides to bail out. Once again, Gobert is in a drop big coverage, in a drop coverage there as a big, and you see Alp is just wiping out the ball handler there. Not sure why Jalen doesn't like this, but he decides to go back across on this, and I love the spacing because it's really hard to help off of this without giving up something for the offense here for the team. He goes around and then snakes, and one thing I want you guys to notice is that when he snakes, if you notice, Alp is starting to stay out of the way. Earlier in the season, when they would run these dribble handoffs into rolls, the big, whether it was Alp or Bruno, would always get in the way of the guards. So he's learning Jalen and Jalen's learning him. That was not a great shot, but I'm glad that they're able to see that they can play off of each other and develop that chemistry. I wanted to show this play just to show Sengun's IQ. He knows that Jalen is there in the corner, and he waits at the perfect moment when Rudy Gobert kind of commits to the paint to give him that corner pass right there. That's still a good contest by Rudy, but just being able to manipulate the defense is really high level stuff for a big. Really high level stuff, and gets a great shot for Jalen, gets his rhythm going early. Yeah, once again, this is the main reason why Jalen went off. The Timberwolves played a different coverage than they did the last game. With Rudy in the game, you're going to be in that drop coverage, and this is just taking candy from a baby. With McDaniels and Naz Reid in the previous game, they were able to kind of bother Jalen by playing a little bit more aggressive on the ball screens, but with Rudy in the game, a guy like him, these are the shots that he's supposed to make, and this is what makes him exciting. Once again, the drop coverage. I don't know why Minnesota is, even playing this against Jalen. I guess because he's in a slump, but he made them pay tonight. And, that's what he's supposed to do. This is what he was doing towards the end of last year. And I'm glad he's getting his confidence back in this game, because it was getting a little worrying. But him being able to see a big and a drop like Rudy Gobert, which is ironic that Rudy would be the one to cause them to lose this game, but it was basically because of Rudy that they lost this game. I love this play because it's a little two-man action with Jalen and Sengun. You can see Rudy's out of position because he knows Jalen has the speed to get downhill. There's really nothing that he can do right here. Sengun gets the ball. Kyle Anderson has to tag him because that's his read on the pick and roll defense. And this is point guard, center right here, your point center, Sengun, being able to make the read that our guards struggle to make, which is find the corner three. And once you get the defense scrambling like that and Jalen relocates back to a three-point line, which is great development for him. And I love that he's doing that because that's not something he would have thought to do maybe earlier in the season or last year. So yeah, definitely good stuff to see from those guys. I'm glad that they are finding some sort of chemistry and working with each other and allowing Alperen to make these plays. And I love this play design right here. I love this play design. You get the screen there for Jalen from Eric Gordon after he makes the entry pass to Sengun. They get into this roll action here, and when Sengun rolls and he has to get tagged, look at Eric Gordon wide open. I mean, even though Jalen makes this mid-range, you can just imagine if they start kind of being aggressive on him coming off of that screen, he could just pass it out to the wide open EG. Great play design. Once again, the chemistry there is just beautiful. Yeah, so after breaking down the game, looking at the film from the clips and the different things, it is kind of good to see Jalen getting the swag back. I don't think this is fully just like, he's back. I think it is a step in the right direction for him. Obviously, 43 is a lot career high, but as you've seen in the breakdown, this was basically the Timberwolves just showing us why the Rudy Gobert trade was just one of the worst trades. That's probably going to be one of the worst trades in NBA history. I mean, they forfeited their whole future for a guy that basically doesn't fit their team. They don't have the requisite defenders and the defensive personnel to be able to have a guy like him playing the drop coverage. And that's the key reason Jalen went off, because he was not coming up on those screens like Naz Reid was in the previous game, and McDaniels, and in the previous game when they played small, they were able to bother Jalen because they forced him into a lot of isolations. And as we know, when Jalen gets into isolation with his small bag right now, not really what he wants to do. He's a movement shooter coming off of screens and coming off of with dribble handoffs. That's his game. He's averaging 1.06 points per possession in both dribble handoffs and coming off screens. And so that's really a healthy diet. And that's one of the bread and butter of his offense right now should be a healthy diet of that, with lower portions of those pick and rolls and other actions like isolations as he develops his strength and his weight to be able to handle those types of plays. But if you watching the game, that's what you see. And also you see that he's a rhythm guy. And for him coming off of those pin downs, him coming off of those flare screens, getting him movement is what I've been advocating for him pretty much the whole season. Now the question does come up, everybody's going to ask, is this something because of Kevin Porter Jr.? Is this something when KPJ's on the floor, does that force Jalen to play a different style of basketball? And I don't think so. I think everything has really been on Jalen. Obviously, we know the coaching staff doesn't give them great structure on what they want to do. And as obviously you can see, they do run plays, but a lot of the reads there are meant for the person that's handling the ball or within the play to be able to decide what they want to do. And a lot of times what we see from these players is not necessarily that the offense doesn't have structure. It's that once they see a certain look that they're not familiar with, they go to their pacifiers, which is isolation. And, and the question then comes in is, are they being held accountable for diverting away from certain things? And I think that's where you could kind of see some of the blame with the coaching staff, is letting these guys get away with just basically screwing up a lot of plays and just isolating and taking bad shots. But you can see the chemistry there with Jalen and Sengun. This was their last season, and I feel like they went away from it. I'm not sure why. Not sure if it was, because they wanted to be like this backcourt, him and Kevin Porter, with the scoring tandem together, or maybe he was trying to be like KPJ and ISO and score like that. But that's not his bag, and he has to understand. And this leads to the question about whether Kevin Porter is redundant with Jalen Green. Honestly, they actually complement each other fairly well. What's redundant is the roles they're being casted in by the system that they're in. If we were able to run what we ran tonight on a, just a regular basis, and instead of maybe Garrison Matthews playing all those minutes at the 3, you put Kevin Porter there, he's a better shooter than Garrison Matthews on catch and shoots. He's a better athlete, a better defender. I mean, obviously, that to me, that's the fit right there. That's the fit. That play that we reviewed with Sengun in a short roll, being able to hit that corner 3. I've probably seen one of our guards do that maybe once or twice the entire season. So you have, between Sengun and a ball handler, you have a quote-unquote playmaker between the two of them, because at least they can see the initial action and he can see the rest of the floor. And if they can't get to their scoring, they can give it up to him and he's going to facilitate for the team. And to me, the indictment is why it took so long for us to get to this point where we're maximizing the players that we have. Because to me, it was always obvious. This has been obvious. You know what I mean? You still build around Jalen Green and play through Sengun. In the previous video that I made, looking at the Golden State Warriors, we were able to see that, the impact Draymond had on Steph's development and his ascension into being a unanimous MVP candidate. Having one of the most efficient seasons in NBA history, and also, winning all those games with the team that they did, going to the finals, winning one and losing one. All of that happened because the coaching staff was able to make a decision to make a gifted post player the hub of their offense. So once again, we need to clear out the egos for the Rockets. At this point of the season, coming off a 13-game losing streak, they need to really figure out what direction are they trying to go. We're running out of runway here in order to make some decisions on these guys that we have, because you're getting to the point where tanking isn't really beneficial anymore, where you're likely going to be risking all the bad stuff we just saw that comes with tanking. And it's real. We understand what the game is, we understand what the prize is at the end of the day, but this is not easy. This is some nasty stuff, and you see the impact, the human impact that it has on the players. You see the impact it has on the coaching staff. I mean, these guys look sick. It's hard for people to get up and go to work and be bad and suck every single day of your life and think you could do that for 2, 3, 4 years. So the tanking is not going to last as far as the MO for the organization into next season, because at that point, people are going to be losing their jobs. So there's no real motivation for them to tank. So then you want these guys to start developing, but there's not a switch as well. Yes, there have been development in the players, but you would expect better development overall, given the circumstances. You would expect that from the level of play and that we've seen from the past, especially from Jalen Green. Yes, I'm happy that he scored 40 points in 2 games, but it doesn't absolve the fact that he's went through literally a month stretch of being just a terrible player. That's still there. I would like to see more consistency from him, and the effort. It can't just be when his shot is going down. If he was 0 for 10 today, I want him to play with the same intensity throughout the game, and that's yet to be seen. I noticed when his shot is going down, he plays hard. When he's struggling and going against because they're switching or playing aggressive drops or trapping him, he doesn't really play defense. He shuts down. So I don't like that, and I need to see more from him to show us that he can be the guy that we know he can be, that we all were advertised that he was going to be a guy that's the tireless worker, the dude that stays in the gym. That's what we need to see from him. So the game, great game. glad these kids got a victory. Glad the coaching staff got a victory. Now everything is better. They can go outside and look at the sun and smile. Their beds are softer. The food tastes better. The drinks taste better. I mean, you feel like a human being anymore. You don't feel like a walking L. So for them, that's good. This is good that they got the victory. Hopefully it'll spur them to play better and play harder and continue to keep going. But this is just something that they can build on. But it's really crazy that we are where we are with this team. I think we all expected them to be slightly better than this, not being just the absolute worst team. But some of the good things that we can't take away from this, we are seeing some chemistry develop between Jalen and Alp again that we saw towards the end of last year. I'm really curious to see how Kevin Porter would fill into this new dynamic that has rekindled in this part of the season. Hopefully, and this to me is going to tell a lot about the leadership structure on the team. If we go back to just running a bunch of ISOs and slow pace pick and rolls after we've seen this, then that'll tell me a lot. That'll tell me a lot. Obviously, we only won one game while he's been out, so we need Kevin Porter Jr. We need Kevin Porter Jr. I just feel like he hasn't been placed in the right positions for him to impact winning as much as he could. And I think that what his skill set that he provides right now, there's actually a need for that on the team, given the way they're currently playing. Because you could take away those Garrison Matthews minutes. You could take away some of those, those bad minutes of guys that can't shoot that are on the court with other non-shooters. So, once again, got the victory. We are happy. No complaints over here. We have a couple of games coming up. The Wizards on Alperen Sengun bobblehead night. I'm curious to see how he does, against that team. I think he can eat against Gafford, who is a athletic center, but not a big guy. So, I think Jalen may struggle against the Wizards because Gafford can come up and play those hard traps and be up on the screen really, really far up. We have the Cavs coming in after that. Interesting game. Looking forward to that as well. But yeah, man, I think if you guys just want to see a trend, keep a lookout on whether teams are playing the drop coverage against Jalen, because when they do, he gets a lot of clear looks at the basket, and that'll determine whether, to me, a lot of times when he gets teams that play those with those drops with their bigs, he scores a lot. So look for that. If it's a team that switches and they play aggressively at the level of the screen, he struggles because then he's forced to isolate. So, take that with a grain of salt. Just keep an eye on that. And let me know, what did you think about the game? What was your favorite play from the game? Do you think this is sustainable? Is Jalen back, or was this just a fluke? You let me know what you think. Did this kind of rejuvenate your love for Jalen as a prospect? Because I'm not going to lie, I think all of us were pretty down on him. And I was down on him just because of the effort part. Never care about shooting. You can watch all my videos, but he got to bring it pretty much every night. To let us know he has that dog. And it's okay to criticize him because we expect a lot, and that's how you get people to reach new levels. If people were letting him chill, then he just chill. He's a kid. You got to expect a lot. That comes with the territory. If you're going to say that you're going to be that guy, then you got to bring it every single night, whether the shots are dropping or not. Appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. Appreciate all the Chop Shop members. If you are not a member, you can look in the description of this video on how to become a member of the Chop Shop. If you're not subscribed, you are lame. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we gonna keep dropping that fire.